Surprise, surprise. It's a different show today. No Chris Williams. Jake Brend is joining us from the wonderful state of Utah. Very, very early this morning. It's an hour earlier there than Central Time, 2 hours earlier than me. Jake, are you in your hotel room?
I am, yes. I didn't know where else to go.
I like the backdrop. I don't know what that is, but it looks good.
It kind of looks like he's being abducted. Like
I've had some
spaceship behind him.
I've had some shows in hotel rooms where it's like the most yellow room on earth and it looks terrible. So I've actually been pretty happy with how this backdrop has treated me out here in Salt Lake City.
So you're in Salt Lake. Is that where you've stayed the whole time, or did you go up to stay in Provo?
No, I've been in Salt Lake the whole time. It's about, from where I'm staying, it's about 40 minutes to Provo. So it wasn't all that different from driving back from Hilton after a game to get back to my hotel room on Saturday night.
All right. Well, for those wondering, Williams is not hungover from Saturday. He is tending to some family business and plans to be back for the show later on this week and hopefully some Cyclone Fanatic shows this week as well. But we are going to do our best to carry the flag for him. We've got a lot to get to, including the U.S. flag, baby.
USA!
Man,
USA!
What an incredible game that was. For the gold medal, United States beating Canada. It was a great start to Sunday. It didn't end up too great for the Iowa men. So let's jump on it on a Monday here on Two Guys.
As a student athlete, life can be pretty demanding. Fortunately, I can always count on Fareway to help me refuel and bounce back. It's why this is right where I want to be. Fareway, your home court advantage.
With the Iowa Lottery's new Millionaire for Life game, you could win $1 million a year for life. That could make you a My Dream Job is No Job millionaire, a front row tickets to every show millionaire, a hire a personal glam squad for you and your bestie millionaire.
Yep, a little further.
Or just to never run out of your favorite pickles millionaire. With Millionaire for Life from the Iowa Lottery,
And these.
you can change your life for life. Play today.
The biggest party of the year is here. Zach Brown Band Love and Fear Tour, presented by Margaritaville at Sea. Friday, November 20th, KC Center. Zach Brown Band. With special guest, Grace Potter. Tickets are on sale now at ZachBrownBand.com.
And a little bit of chicken fried.
Don't miss Zach Brown Band Love and Fear live.
Chris Williams, Chris Hassel, two Chris's, one network. This is Two Guys. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. From the Channel Seed Studios, this is Two Guys. Exclusively on Iowa Everywhere.
And we are in 3 different time zones today. I'm in Eastern Time, Van Wilk in Central Time, and Jake Brend in Mountain Time.
The best time zone to
So
watch.
Mountain Time
Iowa
is an awesome
everywhere.
time zone.
Iowa everywhere, baby.
We are everywhere. As Jake fills in for Chris Williams today, we hope everything goes well with Chris this week, dealing with some family stuff, and look to have him back a little bit later. This is Two Guys, presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery and the Channel Seed Studios. I'm coming back to Iowa for the
Oh
what are we
gosh, that's
calling
this
it?
week.
The viewer
fan,
party,
the fan appreciation
audience
party.
Yes, the audience party, because you're not necessarily a viewer because you might just listen. You're not necessarily a listener because you might just watch. It's the Iowa Everywhere audience party this week. I'm coming back for that, and so I'm hoping to get into a Fareway and get a little Fareway meat while I'm back this weekend. Again, that audience party is Friday night, 7 o'clock at the Irish at West Glen. Keith and Jenny are doing happy hour there live starting at 6:30, so you can come a little early and and be in attendance for that as well.
Just a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I will be at the party. I will be arriving late. I have a work function I need to be at. So I'm going to be arriving at like 9 o'clock when you guys are all just sloppy drunk.
Oh, God. Well, and my dad wants to go to dinner at like 4:30. So he's going to have his first martini at 4:30. So
My gosh.
yeah, I don't know. It's a bad idea. And
I can't wait to have a stogie out there on the
Yeah, I'd like to do that too.
in the cigar room.
Yeah, the cigar lounge.
The Hassel cutout will be there, from what I understand.
Yes, I've been told
Better be.
the same. I would like to see it in person for the first time. We also have a new sponsor to the show. You might have noticed it in our open. Woohoo! The Iowa Lottery joining the program. Jake, I know they joined up on buckets as well.
They did. I could use the Iowa lottery right now. I don't think I can do that out here in Utah.
You could potentially make as much money as an Iowa or Iowa State men's basketball player by winning the lottery. You could be a millionaire like them. Top prize, $1 million a year for life, which they don't get. They get it for a few years. Second prize, a cool $100K for a year. There are 9 different ways to win when you play the Iowa Lottery. It's great to have them on board.
With the Iowa Lottery's
What was that?
What the?
Sorry.
What the hell was that?
It was supposed
Is
to be a
that the ghost
woohoo, and I
probing?
messed it up.
Woohoo! Is that the ghost probing Brend from behind?
Woohoo!
We'll start out there with you, Brend. You got to experience it firsthand, or I guess I should say had to experience it firsthand in Provo. The AJ DeBonsta show.
My gosh.
And man, dude, I don't know how you could pick anybody over him in this upcoming NBA draft, especially when you juxtapose what he did in that Iowa State game, 40 minutes, given his all, to what's going on with the other top player at Kansas.
Maybe I've still got too much NBA brain rot. I think I'd take Peterson, but
You'd
that's
still take Darren Peterson.
I don't know if
Wow.
that's a conversation for today. It's more of a
Well, you've seen them both firsthand.
yes, and firsthand Peterson was not as impressive as DeBonsa. I just think like I'm looking at the NBA terms. I think Peterson's the safest bet talent wise. I don't know how all the playing stuff is going to work out, which I know sounds ridiculous to say out loud.
Well, there's no way Peterson could have taken over a game like DeBonsa, I should say. The T is silent. DeBonsa did against Iowa State in that game. I mean, he could not be stopped.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's a matchup thing. Like, Iowa State just doesn't have a guy that can guard a 6'9" freak athlete like him, and there's not many of them in the country, which is why I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Where Peterson, pretty similar size to Torrey, Bateman, Heisey, same thing with Kingston Fleming. So that I think is what made it the biggest difference. But I do think like he was so intent on taking over that game. And it was BYU's last stand. They've had Arizona at home. They've had Houston at home. They've had at Arizona, at Kansas. They hadn't won any of those games. And this was their last chance to prove, hey, we belong as a top 6 seed or as a top 5 seed, whatever number they're going for. And they played like their season was on the line. And AJ was at the front of that, playing the full 40 minutes, shutting down Milan Momcilovic, falling one assist shy of a triple-double. He was in total takeover mode, and he was so smooth and so physically impressive. And that's the thing. He was so physically impressive that I don't know how quickly he'll translate to the NBA because it reminded me of Omaha Blue in high school, where he was such a better athlete than everybody else on the floor that it didn't really matter, like the skill part of it. So I think he might have a little bit more of an adjustment to the big league than a Darren Peterson.
Well, BYU beats Iowa State 79-69 just a few hours after the Cyclones were unveiled as a 1 seed. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit, but more on this game. And for DeBonsa, it wasn't just offensively where he was 10 for 17. It was completely eliminating Milan Momcilovic. 5 points on 1 of 5 shooting. He was in foul trouble. How does he completely disappear in a game like this?
I don't know, but it looked like the Milan that fans, I guess, had grown worrisome of the past couple of years, and it's really the first time we'd seen it all year. And I really think that it started on the first possession of the game where he had his Dirk fade blocked by AJ. It doesn't happen. It almost never happens. He had an air ball in the first half. I think probably his worst play of the day was, I want to say Iowa State had cut it to 5, and it was a dribble handoff from Lipsy to Momcilovic, and he just wasn't tough enough with the ball, got it poked away. DeBonsa goes the other way with a dunk. I just think DeBonsa did such a good job at taking him out of the game and making it physical, and he kind of just got showed up by a real NBA defender. And I don't know how many of those have been glued to Momcilovic all year, but that's a sign of what's to come if he goes to the NBA, and I guess what he's got to work on. And I trust he'll get out of it. He's in a relative shooting slump. It's not a real shooting slump compared to other players, but by his standards, he's in a bit of a mini struggle. So I think he'll get out of it, but it was pretty jarring to see how out of the game he was on Saturday night.
Yeah, and the fact that he just couldn't create his own shot. I mean, there were a lot of times where he wasn't even touching the ball. I mean, I thought he should have gone back into the game sooner than he did, but to be quite honest, Iowa State was a better team without him on the floor in that game. I mean, that's when they kind of made that mini run. They got it within 3 points at the 7-minute mark at 57-54. I kept waiting for this run, this 8-0, 9-0 run. That never really happened. They did chip away. They got it close. They just couldn't get over the hump. They had a couple of chances on, who was it that had an open look at a 3 that might have either cut it to 1 or tied the game? Yeah. They had a couple instances where if a shot falls, it might be a different game, but just couldn't get over the hump. What was that atmosphere like? Because it looks awesome on TV.
Yeah, visually it is a great atmosphere. And we're not going to do the whole Hilton conversation again because Hilton was great last week. But the lighting, the music, the speakers, all of that was perfect. And I actually think I texted our group chat with you, Williams, and Coop that I wasn't that impressed by the atmosphere in the first half. And I wasn't really. It still feels like it should be louder, but it was a really good atmosphere the last 10 minutes of that game. Kevin Young said it was the best atmosphere he'd been involved in since he took over there. It was great. I still wouldn't put it near Hilton or Allen Fieldhouse, which is, I mean, those are tough conversations to enter. Yeah. But it was an engaged fan base. It was loud, and it's massive. It seats, I think, 19,000 people, and it feels like an NBA arena, which is probably why it doesn't get as loud just based off the infrastructure.
Iowa State is known for its grit, tenacity, the pressure that they put on teams. They had no answer for that BYU offense, and it wasn't just DeBonsa. I mean, anytime he'd pass the ball, they'd have a wide open 3. Why couldn't Iowa State at least contain him in that offense a little bit more?
I think it's the similar issue that showed up in a lot of these road losses, and it's just playing on your heels. And I know fans hate to hear it, and it sounds like excuses, but it's not really excuses. Like the other team was more desperate. The other team played harder. But in the heart of hearts, TJ would say, yeah, we're not being aggressive enough, and we're playing on our heels. Iowa State's defense does not work if you're what would be the term? If you're on your heels, if you're waiting for something to happen. Iowa State's defense works if they're the aggressor, if they're the ones that are punching early. And I'm guessing a lot of that just has to do with the atmosphere. It's a lot easier to do that when you're juiced up at home. They've got to be able to find a way to do that, though, consistently, because it's been disappointing to see that in these games at Kansas, at BYU, at Cincinnati. I would put this game probably closer to the category of Kansas, where it was more so just a team that was really good making plays that night compared to the Cincinnati TCU games, which I thought were completely unacceptable. But a lot of this, it just starts with they need to play like their season's on the line, in the first 10 minutes defensively, and I think their problems would work themselves out, but they're not doing that in these road games.
They are 2-4 on the road in their last 6 in conference play. The only 2 wins at Oklahoma State, at Kansas State. And look, the good news is you don't play tournament games in road environments.
Right.
So you're not going to play in an environment like BYU, like Kansas. But my concern for this team is the way that they're losing games on the road in blowout fashion, really. I mean, relatively speaking. Like, these aren't one play here, one play there, it goes the other way, or you had a chance late and they made a game-winning shot. This isn't that. I mean, you lost to BYU by 10. You lost to TCU by 7. Cincinnati, you lost by 9. Honestly, it wasn't even that close. Iowa State made a run late in that game to make it closer. And Kansas, you lost by 21. Like, these aren't games that you had a real legitimate chance in the final minute to win. That's what concerns me.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is just, again, it comes down to going punch for punch, and they're not doing it. These games would be perfectly fine, even if you're not getting a bunch of stops, if you're returning the favor on the offensive end, and it's just a lot harder to do that on the road. So I don't know what the answer is. They just need to get rid of these 10-0 runs that they're allowing. What made Iowa State so good in the non-conference was, I mean, I think it was them and Michigan. They were the 2 best kill shot teams in the country. They had a lot of them, and they didn't allow them. And that's the key going forward. That's going to be the key on neutral sites. And again, I think a lot of this is just desperation. And I would expect this team to be as desperate as possible in the NCAA tournament when it's win or go home. And that's my hope. But you also never know what the pressure does. You never know what it feels like when the season's on the line, how you play. But that's what a lot of this comes down to. It's not really a talent thing. I think Iowa State's one of the top 10 or 15 most talented teams in the country. But what's made them a top 5 team at points this year, what got them to be a 1 seed in the early reveal, is that they're combining that top 15 talent with number 1 effort and with a number 1 mindset committed to a terrible way to play defense. That's essentially what Kevin Young said it is. But it works because Iowa State's so committed to it. He said, because he's an NBA guy, he came from the NBA, he said, the defense that Iowa State and Houston plays could never, ever work in the NBA. But it can work in college because the players, like 1 through 9, aren't good enough to overcome it if it's done right. And that's what it comes down to Iowa State. You can't even play your defense 90% and have it work. It's got to be 105%, and that's what all the problems come back to.
More on that bracket reveal in just a second, but want to give a shout out to another one of our sponsors, Iowa Distilling. This is I wanted to ask you because I've been to Utah a few times. It's different. Like,
yeah,
it's you go into some places they don't have spirits. You go into other places they only have like 3% alcohol beer. But can you get anything like you have at Iowa Distilling out there with the 1858 vodka and all that?
I think you can, but I haven't tried. I don't want to be in a state where I can't have Iowa Distilling. I've had a few beers. The laws are weird out here.
Very odd.
So I was talking to a bartender at a place up in Park City yesterday where I went to go watch the Iowa men and the Cyclone women play. And he was telling me that on January 1st, they had a new law in place where they have to ID someone no matter what. No matter what, if they walk into a restaurant, if they walk into a liquor store.
What?
So he was telling me.
COVID times, you need your booster card too?
Well, he was telling me that they have to turn away some 85-year-olds because they haven't driven in 15 years and they haven't renewed their license. So apparently the law is because they're trying to cut down on anyone who's ever had a DUI from buying alcohol again, or maybe it's in the last year or 2.
Wow.
So if you're an 85-year-old with no history of a DUI or anything, but you just haven't renewed your license in 15 years because you get escorted from somebody. They've had to have some tough conversations and turn you away. The bartender was really complaining about it. It didn't sound like a fun time to be a bartender in Utah.
Fascinating life out in Utah, and Brend is going to be staying out there because Iowa State has another game at Utah. That's the University of Utah.
Yeah.
At 8 Central Time tomorrow night. Let's get into our Mighty M. I'm sorry, not the Mighty M. Let's weigh us down with Siouxland scales, because something is weighing Van Woke and Brend and a lot of Iowa State fans down right now.
So the bracket reveal, Brent talked about it, comes out Saturday morning. Iowa State's a 1 seed. It's all just setting up perfectly, wasn't it, Brent? Like, just on our, feeling as high as we can. Hassel's talking all week. Oh, no. Houston's going to get that last 1 seed.
I was surprised.
Fair enough.
And then even more surprised that Houston was behind UConn. But anyway.
We can only hold on to this 1 seed for so long. I'll get into this too in my triple B, but we had the game watch in Bondurant with all the Cyclone fanatics. Everyone's Williams is pumping up the crowd. We're a 1 seed, woo! But then he had to calm everyone down, and be like, I don't feel great about this game. So we only got to hold on to this potential 1 seed for a few hours, but it's weighing me down a little bit today.
Well, the good news
it sucks.
is you're not alone. Like, look at what happened just on Saturday. Michigan lost. Houston lost at home. Kansas lost at home. Illinois lost. I mean, it's not just Iowa State here. Everybody's taking their lumps. This is a season where more than a handful of teams could win this whole thing.
It's crazy.
And you still have a shot. Like, Brend, what is the path for Iowa State to get a 1 seed when all is said and done?
I think there are 2 avenues, and I'm so excited because I think the Big 12 tournament will matter this year. So I think the avenue is you can lose at Arizona, win the rest of your games, which would be at Utah, home against Tech, home against Arizona State. You can lose against Arizona and then probably win the Big 12 championship in Kansas City. Would maybe get it done. I can't say for certain because UConn probably has a chance to win their Big East championship, or it could be UConn losing to St. John's, whatever, or it's just win out the regular season. If you win at Arizona and, of course, win the rest of your games as well, all's washed away. You're, I would think, pretty clearly a 1 seed. But if you lose to Arizona, maybe get bounced day 1 or day 2 in Kansas City, then you're up to the peril of other teams. You're hoping Houston doesn't go and win at Kansas tonight. You're hoping that they don't win the Big 12 tournament. You're hoping that UConn loses to St. John's Wednesday night. But other than that, I don't really know who's even in the conversation. Florida potentially, but they lost a lot of games. They lost a lot of games in the non-con.
Mm-hmm.
They've got 6 losses.
They've got work to do.
I don't think any of the other Big Ten teams really have a chance because Illinois is sliding, and they've had some head scratchers. Purdue, Iowa State's got the advantage over. So, like, it's not completely done.
Yeah, it's still there.
You just gotta that game at Arizona sets up really massive. And I don't know if I want to say it sets up well because that team is really good and they are really hard to match up with. And they beat you by not even shooting any threes. They piss pound you inside. But I would expect Iowa State to show up that game like their season's on the line, knowing what's at stake. But that's still that'll be a week from today. I'll be down in Tucson.
So are you just going to stay out there on the?
No, because I'm coming back for the appreciation party.
Oh right, yeah, you got.
So I'm flying back Thursday.
Wow, what a whirlwind!
Or no,
for
I'm
you.
flying back Wednesday. I believe I'll miss the Cyclone women game, which sucks, but I'll be flying in at like 6, so I don't think I'll have time to make it up to Ames. I should have a relatively normal Thursday. We'll start drinking at 9 a.m. Friday for the audience party. I'll cover the Texas Tech game, and then Coop, Williams, and I fly out for Arizona at 6 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh, my God. Well, it's that time of year. So Iowa State, one more game out there in Utah tomorrow night, and then back home for the audience party. Over on the eastern side of the state, the Iowa Hawkeyes went to Wisconsin, started hot. The offense was humming. And it was the first 5 buckets were from 5 different players, and none of them were Bennett Sturts. It felt like, wow, they are on in this game. And then all of a sudden, you look up, and Nick Boyd on Wisconsin is just like, he's clapping so hard his hands have to hurt, and he's starting to take over, and boom, Iowa is trailing by the 10-minute mark of the first half, and that foreshadowed the rest of the way as Wisconsin run 84-71. It was not a game I expected Iowa to win, but Jake, it was just surprising how it ended up, considering how on Iowa was in the first 5-6 minutes of that game.
Yeah, this looked like, to me, a game that, I mean, that fast start wasn't going to be sustainable. There's no way. But it felt like the amount of work Iowa did early, that it was going to set up to be a game you're in the final 2 minutes. And that's, to me, the key with Iowa is just get to the final 2 minutes and let Sturts be Sturts. Mm-hmm. And I was really surprised at how they weren't able, right around like the 8-minute mark of the second half was when it really started to get away from them. And it was, I mean, Cooper Koch missing open shots.
He was
0
2 for 10 from deep.
Zero resistance defensively. That's what I think the major disappointment came from, especially when you consider how well they played against Nebraska on Tuesday. And this is not the same conversation, I think, as Iowa State, because their problems from defense have just, it's been almost a month straight of defensive problems, which is so surprising to me because they showed exactly what they're capable of Tuesday, and it couldn't have looked any different against Wisconsin.
Defense was not there. Ben McCullum was really disappointed in their defensive effort in this game. Wisconsin shoots 54%, had a bunch of wide open threes. They made 10 of 24. And Nick Boyd, who I covered several years ago when he was just kind of a role player at FAU when they made the Final Four. He was a starter, but he wasn't a star. He gets 27 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. It was very A.J. DeBonsa-like in the Iowa State BYU game, in that he was 1 away from a triple-double and just could do whatever the hell he wanted. Right? They tried to put Sturts on him. They had no answer for this guy who clearly, I mean, that building was dead. It was full, but it was dead. It was like a morgue in the first 5 minutes of that game. And he just took it upon himself to get everybody going. Got the crowd into it, got his teammates into it, and just refused to be stopped. And Iowa had no answer. None. And now we know how that we see how fan bases are. Iowa State fans panicking after each loss. Now Iowa fans are, some of them anyway, are worried that this team may not get into the tournament. And look, you still have to win a couple games. Like you've got to beat Ohio State, you've got to beat Penn State on the road. This is still an NCAA tournament team. I mean, they would probably be an 8 or a 9 seed right now. You've got to come home and beat Ohio State. Ohio State doesn't have a quad 1 win all season.
0-9 in quad 1 opportunities.
And I feel like they should be able to do that. I was going to be favored in that game. But I wonder about this lack of consistency on the defensive end for Iowa, because they were so damn good and dominant against Nebraska. Why didn't they have that same fight against Wisconsin? I don't know, but I expect it to come back at home on Wednesday against Ohio State in an 8 p.m. local time tip.
Yeah, they've got to beat Ohio State. If you beat Ohio State, I'd say you're an absolute lock for the NCAA tournament. I still think, even if, worst case scenario, Iowa's only win the rest of the way is against Penn State, you're probably at worst in the play-in game, and I don't even think that. I would still think they'd probably have a bye. They've done enough work. The metrics are good enough. They've picked up enough wins. Maybe not quad one wins, but they've still picked up enough wins overall where a Big Ten team that wins 20 games is going to be in the NCAA tournament almost 99% of the time. But they've got to take care of business against Ohio State. And if they do that, they're probably close to a lock for a single-digit seed in that 8-9 range. Maybe they could still drop to a 10, but it does come down to that consistency. Ohio State's probably more talented than them, but I think they're learning.
I think most teams they play are.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't know if
here's
they...
the difference, though, Brend, is that most games, Bennett Sturts is the best player on the floor.
No doubt.
And he wasn't in this game. Nick Boyd was.
Yeah, that is pretty jarring now that you say that. It's very rare that Sturts isn't the best guy on the floor. And a lot of this comes down, I don't know if it was because of the 6-game winning streak where they win all these games and maybe they start thinking, oh, maybe we are more talented than the other team. And then they go out and think, we can just go play. We don't have to play ugly. We don't have to dive on the floor for loose balls. But then, again, they found it against Nebraska. They realized that's what they had to do. So it was weird to see that. They're going to have to play that way against Ohio State because we've seen Iowa struggle at home with Northwestern, and we've seen them struggle at home against Rutgers. Having home court isn't everything. You've got to show up and play, and they've got to play like the season's on the line. They've got to believe, hey, I don't know if we're going to make the NCAA tournament. I think that would be important for them to take that mindset and say, we've got to not only beat Ohio State, let's beat them by double digits, make a statement, kind of similar to that UCLA game a couple months ago.
When their backs have kind of been against the wall in need of a win, they've gotten it. Like
Indiana.
There were 2 games this year where I felt like Iowa needed it, and it was the Indiana game and it was the Nebraska game.
No doubt.
Had to have those games, and they've had really good efforts in both of those games. You had 7 players play 19-plus minutes, and then the 8th player off the bench, not Brendan Hawson, but Isaiah Howard, only 9 minutes, 2 points, took 2 shots. Jake, why do you feel like we need to see more of Isaiah Howard for the Hawkeyes?
Well, he's just a spark plug. He was, other than Sturts, when I covered Drake, he was my favorite player. I just loved watching the guy. I remember his introduction to me where he really, I think it might have been one of the first games I covered and shot. It was against Bradley, and they were down 12, and he had 3 straight possessions where he stole the ball and went the other way and dunked. It was awesome. But my thing with Howard starts with McCollum, because right after the game, McCollum reflected and said, we probably should have played Howard more. And I hate when coaches say this.
Yeah. Why didn't you do it?
I don't mind it if it's on a Tuesday after a game where it's like it's the press conference 2 days later and you ask, hey, coach, as you watch back, is there anything you would have done different? And they say, kind of wish Howard would have I wish I would have played Howard a little more. That's understandable. But if you can say it right after the game, it means you probably were thinking about it in the moment. And maybe it was just a gut feeling to not have Howard on the floor. But I don't like coaches when they say that right after games because it feels like something they were aware of and made that mistake in the moment. And they clearly needed something different. Howard's got an edge to him. He picked a little fight there at the end, which I think is, it resulted in a couple of free throws, but the game was over. It's kind of what they need right now. They need someone that's going to ugly it up and know that you're going to get in their grill. I think Tate Sage provides a lot of that as well. A lot of stuff that just right now Koch and Fulgaris are not really providing in Cale Combs as well.
Yeah, and God, nobody was able to get in Nick Boyd's way anytime he wanted to get to the rim. Like, if you have somebody there that's willing to take a hard foul, maybe that changes things. It's not like Nick Boyd is AJ DeBonsa.
No.
He's 6'3", 175 pounds. Okay? And so this little guard is consistently finding his way to the rim and never really having any resistance.
Yeah, it's a mindset thing. You want someone out there, and that's why Nate Heise is maybe my favorite player on Iowa State, because he steps on the floor and says, this guy is not going to beat me. And sometimes Nate Heisey, who's a sixth-year senior from Lake City, Minnesota, and has just grinded his way to where he is. Sometimes he's going to match up against an AJ DeBonsa, and it's not really going to matter. But for the most part, when he steps onto the floor, it's his job, his mindset. This guy's not going to get past me. And Iowa needs to find that guy. It was Bennett Sturts against Price Sanford, but he's being asked to do so much offensively that you can't realistically expect him to be the stopper. Yeah, maybe in a do-or-die NCAA tournament game or for a 10-minute stretch here and there, but it needs to be somebody else. Is it Howard? Is it Tate Sage? Is it Tavion Banks? I don't know the answer, but McCollum's got to – he almost has to pull somebody aside and say, I'm going to play you 35 minutes today. I don't care if you make a shot. You just have to go stop their best player and make life miserable for the other team. And that's what I feel like this team's missing right now.
They're missing T. They have low T. Get these guys into game day men's health ASAP. Discuss your real-life experience and success using testosterone products. Obviously, in central Iowa, it's Ankeny, but locations all over. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com to get started on your overall wellness journey. And it's not just for men. I know it's called Game Day Men's Health, but they might need a rebrand because our own Jenny Murphy is going there as well as we transition to women's basketball and the Iowa Hawkeyes with a huge victory on Sunday at home in front of a raucous sellout crowd for the 50th straight time, a sellout crowd at Carver. And Iowa gets a much-needed win over a top-flight team. Like, Michigan's not UConn, Michigan's not UCLA, but they're on that next level, like that 2-seed line. That's Iowa can't compete with the best of the best. We've seen that. But can Iowa compete with that next wave of teams? Well, they showed that they can against Michigan, running away in the fourth quarter to a blowout victory over the number 6 team in the country.
These aren't your Caitlin Clark, we're just not going to play defense Hawkeyes. I mean,
No.
they held Michigan under 10 points in 2 different quarters. 8 points in the second quarter, 9 points in the fourth quarter. That's pretty incredible. I know you've got players like Kylie Feuerbach, who, back to the Iowa men conversation, it's a player that she's not really out there to do much other than play defense. Yeah, she hit some shots, but that performance was so impressive because Iowa has, essentially secured, no doubt, a bye, or not a bye, but home court advantage in the NCAA tournament. They're going to host.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of, could they possibly hop up to the 2 line? I think they're safely on the 3 line at this point, but they took it to Michigan, and now you get Illinois, Wisconsin, pretty easy games to finish the season. They're knocking on the door of a 2 seed, especially when you consider that they've got the tiebreaker over almost every other Big Ten team that they'd even be competing with. They beat Michigan State, they beat Maryland, they beat Ohio State, they beat Michigan. So that they got the head-to-head over all of those teams.
And big to stay on the other side of the bracket from a UCLA team that's head and shoulders above everybody else in this conference.
No doubt.
Like, you don't want to have to see them until the championship game because these games are going to matter for seeding. I mean, it's not. I do think that they value it a little more on the women's side, what you do in the conference tournaments. And with Iowa so close to, like, whether you're a 2 or you're a 3, if Iowa can get to the championship game and maybe put up a fight against UCLA, maybe they can get to that 2 line. And just like it is in the Big Ten tournament, you want to be a 2 so that you don't have to see that whoever it is, that incredible 1 seed that's going to be opposite you in the bracket. You do not want to have to see them in the Sweet 16 round. If you're going to make a run in the tournament, you want to avoid those 1 seeds as long as possible. And Iowa's got a shot now to do it. They should finish 15-3 in the Big Ten as long as you take care of business against Illinois and Wisconsin. 15-3 in the Big Ten. This is a Big Ten that, look, it's UCLA and everybody else, but there's still a ton of ranked teams, a ton of teams that are going to be in the running to host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament between Maryland and Michigan State and Minnesota. We've seen how much better they are this season, and Ohio State and Michigan. It's still a really good conference. It's is top heavy with UCLA, but a ton of NCAA tournament teams. And what an atmosphere at Carver for that game. It was a rock fight. Just an absolute back and forth rock fight early in that game. The teams didn't like each other. They were getting into some scuffles. And I'll talk more about Ava Heiden in our Triple B, but she single-handedly beat up Michigan in the fourth quarter of that game.
Yeah, I think it's 50 straight sellouts now at Carver Hawkeye Arena. That place gets on fire for women's basketball, and it's pretty cool to see. And if it wasn't already, it's absolutely Jan Jensen's program now. Yes, you've got the history of what came before you, and there's no one that embraces that better than Jan Jensen. Like she was a part of the last era, but it's her era now. It's her players for the most part, and they continue to get a lot of big recruits at these games. It's got to be a pretty easy sell to go play in front of 15,000 people every single game.
I can't imagine many places more than maybe 2 or 3 that have as good of an atmosphere as that.
And how about the turnaround after the 3 straight losses, right? Rattle off 4 in a row. Could potentially be 6 in a row heading into the tournament. So really hot right now.
Speaking of turning things around, Iowa State did a similar thing on the women's side. You know, you get one of your stars back in Addie Brown, and it looks like you are going to register another signature victory on the road at TCU, a game nobody really expected Iowa State to win. And there they are in position to win this game up, double digits in the fourth quarter?
They're up 13.
And then all of a sudden, this game was going on at the exact same time as the Iowa men's game, so I've got kind of a double box flipping back and forth, and then boom, just like that, TCU is on top and ends up running away.
A 25-4 run at one point. I don't know what the final run ended up being because Iowa State hit a couple garbage time buckets, but man, it truly felt they were one stop away from winning this game at a couple different points. And they got the stop and didn't get the rebound. And then the other way, it just wasn't a lot of answers. It was kind of force it to Audie Crooks. Audie doesn't get the best whistle, but you can't control how the officials officiate the game, and you just are pounding your head against the wall doing the same thing over and over and over again. It was really, really tough to watch. I was sitting at this ski bar just with my hands on my face the entire time. People probably thought that I was insane because you could feel it for the last 5 minutes. I think I was texting in our Brain Trust group chat about it. It didn't have good vibes, and TCU has won 41 straight home games. They were that close to ending that streak at home. It would have been our going long segment today was going to be, man, what do you do with Iowa State? Because they were about to be 17-1 with Addie Brown in the lineup. A win at TCU, like win against Iowa. They didn't lose in the non-con. You weren't going to be able to view them as a 17-1 team, but how much were you going to weigh it if, man, they just don't lose that much with Addie Brown in the lineup, and now all of that goes by the wayside. You're kind of back to where you started.
Yeah, Miles kind of took over that game too. Ended with a triple-double for TCU. That's a good team. That would have been a huge win for Iowa State as you're getting close to the Big 12 tournament too. I mean, they're right there in the fight with potentially. They're probably gonna have to play on that first day now, right, Brend? Like, I mean,
second. They'll have
their second day. Yeah,
they'll have a normal bye. They just won't have the double bye most likely. Actually, I don't think they have any shot. I don't think they have any shot at getting the double bye at this point.
Yeah, probably have to have a couple people lose if they wanted a chance, but 2 games left, so.
Yeah, senior day against
Arizona. No, they just played Arizona State.
Yeah, they just
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, Kansas State on the road to finish out.
Yep. Tough to watch.
Olivia Miles, triple-double.
And Jada Williams is close to a triple-double as well. I think she fell 2 rebounds short. She just ran out of gas a little bit. She was the reason they were up so big in this game. She was playing at a high level and just missed a couple shots, not really anything bad. She had a bad turnover there down the stretch, but nobody on Iowa State played well. Too much ISO ball, not enough doing what made them be up 15 in this game. just really frustrating.
Was thinking that this could be an all-time Sunday with, the way things started with the Iowa women's win. The Iowa State women are rolling, and the Iowa men got off to a great start because of how things started. Our mightiest moment of the week. Had a great chat with Dave and Sarah from Mighty M last week after our show on Thursday. Really looking forward to testing out one of their pressure washers, which you can rent anywhere. I mean, anywhere you live. I mean, they're all over the country. You can rent a Mighty M pressure washer. But for our mightiest moment of the week, it is the United States sweeping gold from Canada in ice hockey. First, it was the women in overtime with a golden goal, and then the men in overtime.
And we don't even care about hockey.
No. Well, you cared so much, Bren. You're in the Mountain Time Zone, and you got up for this game?
I did. I care about hockey. I'm just saying, as a population, it's our 5th or 6th most popular sport.
Mm-hmm.
I could barely even. I played growing up, and I was one of like 3 kids in Indianola that played any organized hockey. But it doesn't matter.
I didn't know anybody in Muscatoon that played hockey.
It didn't matter. We still beat Canada at their sport. It'd be like Australia somehow waking up and beating us in American football. Good luck, buddy. But we've caught up, and it was a fantastic game. I think more casual fans were like using the word miracle. This was not a miracle. It wasn't anywhere close. The tournament entered, like, Canada was plus money to win the tournament, which I'm glad that I resisted, and I'm glad my patriotism refused me from placing a bet on Canada, because I just thought that seems too free. I know the USA is really good, but I've got to believe it before I see it. And USA proved, I think they're plus 165 to win gold going into the tournament, which is, it's almost a coin flip at that point. And the gap has shrunk so much. Like, Canada still had the 2 best players on the ice. Honestly, maybe the 3 best players between Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, and Cale Makar. But the U.S. has really found an identity at being so much tougher, where Canada's got all this finesse, and the U.S. just takes it to them. And granted, they should have lost the game, probably 5-1, 5-2. But Connor Helbeck had one of the all-time games that'll live forever.
What a save that was. So it's the first gold since the Miracle on Ice in 1980 for the U.S. men's team.
Yep, 46 years to the day.
But this really got started, and I'll never forget watching this one in 2010.
The Crosby.
Yeah, United States, Canada, Winter Olympics, gold medal game, goes into overtime just like this. And it really, even though the United States lost, it was such a thrilling tournament and game that it really did inspire a lot of kids to get into the game of hockey. And I see Rodney pointed out a tweet that some hockey person had back in 2011 about how there were 100,000 plus kids in under-8 hockey, and to watch out for this 2026 U.S. Olympic team. And that team really, that 2010 team, even in a silver medal winning fashion, really did, I think, inspire a new generation of American hockey players. And I'm sure this one is going to do the
Even
exact
more.
same thing.
Was it the same? Was the guy who tweeted that the same guy who tweeted about Paige Beckers?
Yeah,
when she was in, like,
look
5th
out
grade?
for this 3.5-year-old girl. She's going to be something one day.
No, I remember that 2010 game vividly.
I was watching it in the Channel 13 sports office with Keith
bawled
Murphy.
I bawled my eyes out. Patrick Kane is maybe my favorite athlete of all time, so I was so heavily invested in that game back then. This team is so much better now, where you don't just have one Patrick Kane. You've got Austin Matthews. You've got the Hughes brothers, the Tchucks. It's
Did you just pronounce the T in
yeah,
Kachuk?
the Tchucks.
The Tchucks.
I had to do my inner
Williams is back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Van Wilk, I'm sorry for you. I know you were rooting for Canada. So I'm sorry
Hell
you guys
no.
couldn't
Hell
get
no.
that victory. This leads us right in, though, to our Triple B, because there was an incredible feel-good moment in the celebration for this.
Bigger, better, bolder. Built by Kelderman Manufacturing.
Yeah.
Kelderman was feeling it this weekend. He was at an Aaron Lewis concert. He was upset that Williams skipped the Aaron Lewis concert in Ottumwa, Iowa for his own book signing event. But Jake, lead us into, because it was, if you're not familiar with the story, this probably hit you like a ton of bricks when you saw the team bring out a jersey of one of the fallen Team USA members.
Yeah, so Johnny Gaudreau, USA Olympic hockey player, played for Calgary and Columbus. Last year was killed by a drunk driver while riding his bike with his brother. And it just tragic loss for the hockey community. Of course, a tragic loss for the team, his family. And his family actually flew out to Milan for the Olympics. And when they won, they were instantly holding up his jersey, skating around the ice. And then they do the gold medal ceremony and all of that. And then they're taking the group photo. And a couple of USA hockey players skate over to the Gaudreau family and grab his two young kids. Little Johnny was celebrating his second birthday yesterday. And it was hard to not tear up during that. It was a truly special moment for guys because Matthew Chuck played with him in Calgary, and those guys were clearly really close, and they've really embraced Gaudreau's poor widow as his kids who probably don't even know their dad, and that's just tragic, and it'll be a photo that lives forever in USA hockey, and it'll live forever for those kids and his wife.
There's so many images that were burned into your retinas after that game, with the Gaudreau jersey being held up, the kids out there, the game-winning goal scorer with the teeth missing and blood coming down his face as he bites into the gold medal.
You think Tate McRae likes that?
So he's dating Tate McRae?
Yeah. Yeah, Jack Hughes.
Jeez.
The Hughes
Jack
brothers
Hughes
are
with
incredible.
the game winner. That what did you say? He never should have to buy a beer in the United States again.
Well, I said that about Hellbuck, the goalie, but Hughes as well. I mean, really,
Hughes
anybody
scored
on
the
that
game
team.
winner, but Hellebuck was the reason that they were able to win that game because he kept the United States there. He got that into overtime. He made the incredible save. There's a picture of that save from
my gosh.
just above the goal. It's unreal. There it is. Van Welk right on cue.
Well, so full disclosure, I don't know if I was so screwed up on my time zone thing. I thought this game was at 8 Central, not 8 Eastern. So I set my alarm for 7, and I woke up like 3 minutes into the second period and watched from there. And if there wasn't a scoreboard up on the TV, I would have thought that Canada was up 6-0. Because pretty much from the moment I watched, so I missed the first period, until they won in overtime, Canada dominated everything. They had so many more shots on goal. They dominated possession. So Hellbuck just completely kept them in the game.
That
incredible.
first goal by USA was crazy too. The breakaway where he flipped it to himself and just skated harder than those two Canadians and got the goal. Crazy. Yeah, you're right though, Jake. Canada played better than the US throughout most of this game, but the goalies, I feel like the goalies are what ends up mattering the most in the Olympics. Like if you can get a solid goalie that can keep everything in front of you, it's going to give you a good chance to win. The USA had that the whole tournament.
I will say, even though we won both of them, it should not be 3-on-3 in overtime.
I hate it.
It should be 5-on-5. I mean, come on. This is a gold medal game.
Yeah.
Maybe for a quarterfinal or, group stage play, whatever. For the gold medal, no. And that wasn't, I think when they played in 2010, that was 5-on-5.
This was the first year of 3-on-3. That was introduced in the NHL, I believe, just last year in the regular season. But once they go to to the playoffs, there's still 5-on-5. If you go 8 overtimes, you're playing 8 overtimes. 8 20-minute periods. It doesn't really matter in the playoffs, and that's how the Olympics should be. If that game wanted to go 7 hours, it should have gone 7 hours.
And Rodney says he disagrees. 3-on-3 is electric. Yeah, it is, but it's not real hockey. Like hockey is not meant to be played. It would be like playing 3-on-3 basketball in overtime. Like the court is the rink is too big for that, and that's why you see goals so fast. Like you're only going to last a few minutes here, and then there's going to be a goal one way or the other.
Or it'd be like having the California rules in baseball in the World Series. Like, I'm perfectly fine with it in the regular season, shortened games.
Or let's go 7-on-7 in the NFL playoffs.
You're not burning relief pitchers into the 19th inning in the middle of July. But in the playoffs, I don't want a guy starting on second.
No.
This is America.
So do you like NFL or college football playoff rules better?
NFL, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. College football's gimmicky.
Just don't give me ties.
It's NFL is really tough.
Football's different, though, because there is a limited gas tank. You can't play a 6-hour football game for player safety.
And I get it why they do it in the hockey regular season. You go to 3-on-3 overtime because you're playing 82 games. But as soon as you get to the playoffs, no, you go 5-on-5. And that's how it should be in these elimination games. Definitely the gold medal game in hockey. But it is Team USA, men and women, winning the gold. That's a great Triple B, Brend. So that was an very early wake up for a lot of fans that were up really late watching Iowa State BYU on the East Coast here. That game didn't end until 12:45 a.m. And Van Woke, I know you were out watching late at the was this the Williams book signing event?
This was. I mean, it was a combined book signing and late
Is
night
Williams
game
up there
watch
on
at
the
Reclaim.
stage like playing acoustic guitar for the
Yeah, it was
does look like
our
it.
boy English. It's our boy English there next to him playing. English entertained the crowd the whole night. We just packed it in to Reclaim, man. We had like 200-300 people in there. It was a nice fundraiser for Living Ava's Way, a local nonprofit here in Bondurant, and the Bondurant Booster Club. They presented Williams with a helmet, a Bondurant helmet. But no, it was just a cool night, man. It was
like a motorcycle helmet?
No, a football helmet.
Football helmet.
Yeah. No, it was cool. Like, I mean, so there's a chapter in Williams' book about the original, well, the first BYU game watch when, the Melvin Edgem classic, game in Provo where he flipped off the crowd. And I was at that game watch. Williams actually asked the crowd, was anyone at that Fanatic game watch? And I think it was me, Bloom, and Williams were the only ones there that were at both of those game watches. But no, it was really cool to like just pack all these Cyclone fans watching this late night game because it was late, man. It was 9:30. The coolest part about this is state wrestling was going on at the same time, and Bondurant had a kid in 3A at like 157, I think, wrestling, and he won state at that while we were watching. Like while Williams was doing his Q&A, we like paused the event to watch this Bondurant kid wrestle too. So no, it was a fun night. Outcome wasn't the best, but no, it's always fun to get together with the Fanatics, and met a lot of our listeners out there. Hassel, I met a couple that lives in Ankeny. And they said, we're retired now. We like to go down and work out in our basement and watch the show. We hated Hassel when we started watching this. They're Cyclone fans. We hated Hassel, but we've really come around to liking him. So you're winning over the Cyclone fans, man.
Well, come on out and see us this Friday at the Irish at West Glen, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, our Iowa Everywhere audience party. And it does sound like my dad and Williams' dad, the two dads, are going to team up on Happy Hour with Keith and Jenny. That's going to be the first time they've met each other. I don't know what the questions are going to be from Keith and Jenny, but it has a chance to be explosive.
I really thought it was a joke until I ran into Mr. Williams down in Manhattan, and he was like actually pissed off. He's like, I can do the Cyhawk thing. But I hate when Don comments on my family's pictures. It really pisses me off. So I can't wait to see how this goes. It's good that we've got Keith moderating it.
Yes, Keith's the perfect person to have in the middle of this.
It will be hopefully my dad coming off a meal where he doesn't get violently ill, but he's going back to the same exact
Don't shake
restaurant.
my hand.
that he
Don't
got
shake
sick
my
at
hand.
last
I don't know what I have.
All right, let's hit the transfer portal with the Kaburskis.
Wait, what's your bigger, better boulder?
Oh, that's right. See, I'm not used to hosting the show. I'm always looking ahead. Ava Heiden, as I mentioned in our game talk about Iowa and Iowa State women's basketball and Iowa beating Michigan, Ava Heiden was an absolute beast in the final 5 minutes of that game. Iowa started to open it up a little bit. They were up by 8, but then Ava Heiden just completely takes that game over. In the final 5 minutes, she's 6 of 6 from the floor, 12 points. She had a block. She had a steal. She was talking trash. She got an elbow to the mouth that she was mouthing off about. She's a sophomore, and she was the star on senior day for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And this might be Iowa's next big women's basketball star. If she plays with that kind of attitude, geez, no stopping her.
Yeah, really impressive.
As long as she doesn't hit the transfer portal, which she won't. Let's go with Kaburski.
Doom, 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 doo, 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 doo. I deleted the intro. I'm sorry. I disappointed everyone.
What the hell, Ben Woke?
I'm loading it right now. I was trying to delay. Here we go. I didn't realize the portal was still open, but it is.
Yeah, spring is almost here. So they're still looking for people to come over, transfer over to the Kaburski brothers, and become a dadgum Kaburski. They need a bunch of positions because they're growing rapidly. Operations manager, chemical applicator, commercial mowing supervisor, lawn care technicians. Those guys, I can't imagine how fun they'd be to work with, to work for. And they're always keeping you in mind as well. If you go work for them, they'll get you home for your dinners and no weekends at all with the Kaburski brothers.
It's perfect.
All right. I saw something disturbing once again involving the Iowa State crank horn. And it is something that we're going to go long on here today.
It's time to go long with Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
All right. I'm sorry to do this to you, Wealth Charter. The professionals over there planning your retirement, helping you with taxes. Give them your taxes. Don't worry about that stuff. Call Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax, 515-964-9671. The crank horn was back yesterday at the Iowa State wrestling event. Jimmy Rogers was on the crank horn. I'm sure just cursing under his breath at this thing.
He's doing it right, though.
He's
I told
trying
you,
to
ramp
do it
into
right.
it. He's doing it right.
Do you have the angle from the side from, I think it was Travis?
Oh, Jacqueline. I think Jacqueline maybe
Was
got
that
a side angle.
Jacqueline's?
Hang on. Yep, here we go.
No, it's not that one. It's where you see the entire side, and you see this rickety thing moving back and forth on the court, probably scratching the hardwood, because it's a podium thing that Jimmy Rogers has to stand on, and as he's turning it, it's moving all over the place, rocking around. Come on! If you're going to use this thing in such a prominent spot, can we get it a little more sturdy? They've made it a little bit nicer. They've changed the outside a little bit since we saw it out there at Jack Trice Stadium. But this thing still, I think it's an accident waiting to happen. Somebody's going to get hurt.
I hate it. I can't stand it.
I'm glad you hate it too.
Tornado sirens.
Here's the side view
so
of it, Brent.
unique.
Well, look at this.
Here we go.
Watch
Okay.
the floor. See, look at this. Scratching up the Big 12 logo in the
They
paint.
got the good logo on it. They got the good logo.
It's like
the
a
bird and the blender.
grill. It's like if you would attach this to a grill and stand on it.
We're in engineering
moving it
school.
around
Come
on
We
hardwood.
can figure this out, right?
Stormy Cyclone points out in the comments exactly my take. Just play a siren over the speaker and do it so much that opposing teams hate it. That's what this comes down to. A tornado siren is unique to only Iowa State. Who else can play it other than, I guess, maybe Miami. With the Hurricanes?
Yeah.
But who cares? Play the siren nonstop and get rid of this crank horn. Find some other tradition to have local celebrities come out and do. I don't know. Start a skull chant or get a big horn. I don't know.
Can we make the crank horn not so like wimpy though too? It's like
it's like.
Can we get it's like like let's start it lower register, bolt this thing to the ground so people can really get into it.
And the contraption is just so weird. Show that head-on shot again where you see there's like a joystick that's like mounted onto the top of it. Look at that. It's just like it looks like they mounted a black dildo on top of it that you're supposed to hang on to for grip. And then there's the microphone, and then what is that contraption on the far right with like the metal tubing? What? It's just so bizarre.
It's probably so you can wheel it out. But I'll play this one for you, Hassel, just because I know you love this one.
Oh my God!
Go back to that last Rogers picture, Van Winkle.
Where do we got this one? McCarney.
Oh yeah, McCarney just all bent over. Just
this
poor
one?
guy.
Yeah, look at that sweatshirt on Jimmy F. and Rogers.
Let's see, what do we got here? It's black and gray, and it's got the same logo that's on the crank horn.
I will also point out that is behind coach there is Iowa State's newest president, Dr. David Cook, and he's wearing walking Cy. So I like the look out of the new president already.
Good win for Cyclone Wrestling. Younger.
Oh, they ended up. See, I had no idea what happened or who they were wrestling. All I saw was this crank horn BS with Jimmy Rogers sliding all over the place.
They beat Mizzou. Younger Bastida on senior day. Tech fought his guy and broke down into tears on the mat right after. He's had a cool story. He didn't even know folk style wrestling when he got to America. He didn't know any English. Now he's got a degree. He speaks fluent English. He's going to be a potential national champ. So cool story out of Ames for wrestling.
Van Wilk, what's coming up in the concert series at Iowa Event Center?
Yeah, Luke Bryan's coming to the Casey Center June 19th. Special guest Drew Baldridge, Ray Lynn, Carly Scott Collins. We're going to actually have a contest coming up very soon. I think either later today we'll put it on our social media about winning a pair of tickets to see Luke Bryan.
Now, what is Luke Bryan's big song?
Girl.
Oh, that's
Rain makes corn.
Girl.
Corn makes whiskey, and whiskey makes me want to get down and frisky.
That's it. That's my favorite Luke Bryan song.
I like
June
Play
19th,
It Again.
highv6.com. What'd you say? Play It Again. It's
a good Luke Bryan song.
Williams will qualify this as douche country, but you know what? Luke Bryan does a lot for the farming community. He does the farm series. He gives back, so I'll give him
Brent,
props.
what's on the docket for you today? Because it's an off day for Iowa State. You're gonna drink some of that 3.2 alcohol by volume beer?
No, I don't think so. We talked to the team at like 5:00 today.
Oh, you get media availability.
Yeah, Hines and I will go and talk to TJ, and I'm assuming a couple players, which I'm sure it's throwing them off because TJ sets his alarm for I think 4:59 every day. They do early practice, but when you're on these road trips, it's the host or the home team kind of plans your itinerary for you. So I believe they're working out at the Jazz facility, but doing a rare afternoon practice. So we'll go talk to them after that. I don't really know what I'm going to do until then. I might just go find a national park that's somewhat close and do some hiking or something because I don't really have a ton to do before.
It's a beautiful spot. What's the weather like there right now?
It's beautiful. It's like mid-50s, no wind. You're down in this little valley. It's beautiful.
There is a lot to do outside, so I would strongly recommend maybe doing that. But bring some water. I keep seeing these stories of these people going hiking or ended up, getting killed. I don't want to scare you or anything, but
No, I don't get scared.
you're just a little Iowa boy out there by yourself, all alone in the wilderness in Utah.
Gonna watch Kansas,
don't
Houston
let those
tonight.
Mormons get you. All right,
KU,
well,
Houston.
hey, again, Friday, our audience party. I think we might actually do our next Two Guys show Friday morning in person. I haven't pinned that down yet, but it depends on how things go with Williams this week, attending to some family business, and we wish him all the best. And we thank everyone for watching, listening, consuming today. Thank you, Brend, for getting up really early.
Love you, Brend.
To join
Appreciate
the
it, man.
program.
Yeah, thanks for having me, as always.
Two Guys with Chris and Chris today. Jake Brend, presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Thank you, everybody. Follow, like, subscribe wherever you consume us.